Hello, everyone. Welcome to a not so CDH episode of CDH Cast. Today, I'm going to be discussing a new format. I've been away a while. I've been playing this new format that it's been around for a really long time. It's just new to me, called Canadian Highlander, also known as Canlander. So, Canadian Highlander is this really exciting format for me personally. You get to play all the powerful magic cards you get to play in CDH, and you get to play some of the powerful magic cards that are banned, like Paradox Engine or Gifts Ungiven. Additionally, it's a 1v1 format, and recently I've just been getting really tired, I guess, of the multiplayer aspect of CDH. So, I mean, obviously, it's a lot of fun, and when you go to a GP or something, and you sit with 4 of your friends and play CDH, that's a total blast. But that's not why I'm playing over webcam right now. It's just the reality. I like talking to my friends on Discord. I like hanging out in the channels, but I'm not really having a lot of fun playing CDH, and it's not the format's fault. It's just kind of, the situation around the world. I don't think CDH is really meant to be a webcam exclusive format, so I've been playing this instead. So I'm going to introduce the format, talk a little bit about it, talk about one of the decks I've been playing, and hopefully get some of you excited about the format, and maybe we can play some games. So the first thing I have here is, what is Canadian Highlander? So Canadian Highlander is a 100-card singleton 1v1 competitive format. So this isn't like Commander. It's not supposed to be casual, and we're playing it a ridiculously competitive way. This is a competitive format, so the points list, there is no ban list. The points list is designed for competitive play. All the cards that are legal in the format are supposed to be played together. This is the way the format's intended to be played. You can play it casually, and I'm sure there are people out there who do, but most people I'm interacting with at least are playing it competitively, and so that's just the reality of the format, I guess. So every card contains exactly 100 cards. It says minimum, but I don't think you're allowed to play more than 100 cards. I don't think so, at least. You can play one copy of every card, but as it says here, you can play multiple copies of Relentless Rats or that new lightning bolt they just printed. It's a 3-mana bolt. But instead of a ban list, there's no ban list except for the vintage ban list. There's a points list. So effectively, you can't play anti-cards, but you can't play Black Lotus, you can't play Time Walk, you can play Gifts Ungiven, Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, Ancestral Recall. So that's insane, right? How is this format interesting if every deck can just play all these insanely broken cards, right? I mean, CDH is fun, but you get a commander, so you can personalize your deck. So how does that happen in this format? Why are people playing this? Well, there's this thing called the points list, and this is where the complexity of the format just goes nuts. It's a really easy format to play, I'd say, just like any other Eternal format, but brewing this format is so crazy because you have this thing called a points list. So the points list is, you can play 10 points in your deck. Every card in the format has a point, somewhere between 0 and 7 for now. Maybe there's an 8-point card in the future, or there was in the past, but right now, the most amount of points you can have is 7 per single card. So you play 10 points in your deck, and you brew your deck with the understanding, hey, you can play up to 10 points. You don't have to play 10 points. I'm going to optimize my points usage. Maybe I'm a Goblins deck, and I know in the past Goblins used to not play points, although I'm pretty sure they do now. But maybe your deck doesn't want any points, or maybe you only need 7 points or something because you're just on Black Lotus, but you don't want to be on a Moxen for some reason. So that's kind of crazy. And so if we're looking at all these points, we'll see the most recently updated cards: Flash, Spellseeker, Tainted Pact. I'm sure those cards CDH players are also familiar with. For obvious reasons, it makes sense that those points get moved around as people are optimizing the format, and the format speeds up over time, just like all Eternal formats do. So yeah, I took this points list. I actually converted it to a different sorting method, so right now it's alphabetical. And here's the points list by point amount. So you can see there's 3 7-pointed cards, no 6-pointed cards. Flash is a 5-pointed card. Used to be have more points, I'm pretty sure. And then we have cards like Demonic Tutor, Mana Crypt, Natural Order, Soul Ring. Those are all 4 points. That makes a lot of sense to me. We have Burning Hulk, all of the Moxen. So the Moxen aren't actually that many points. They're 3. If you want to play multiples, it gets pretty expensive. But you can definitely play Moxen in your decks, which is always really exciting. I played a mono red deck yesterday that was playing 3 Moxen, I think, so that was pretty sick. I was at least on Ruby. You got some cards like Strip Mine, Tinker. Those cards are obviously really powerful in a 1v1 format, especially Strip Mine. Then we go in the 2 points. We have some just generically powerful cards like Yawmas Will, Invisamis Jete, Survival of the Fittest. Those cards are obviously kind of insane. But then we have cards like Gifts Ungiven, Mystical Tutor, Birthing Pod. Gifts Ungiven is actually banned in Commander, if anyone isn't familiar with that, which is one of the few cards I feel like that's on the ban list for actual power level reasons. Like, Gifts Ungiven is insane. Like, the deck I'm playing, for the most part in paper, is a Gifts Ungiven deck, and if you resolve Gifts Ungiven, it's really hard to lose. Like, your opponent really just has to, like, blow you out with, like, a Nihil Spellbomb or something you didn't notice. So, and then there's just a ton of 1-pointers, and I found that I built a deck and I only had 9 points. I had to figure out what my 10th point was. It's not that hard, actually, to end up at that point and wonder, like, am I really supposed to be on Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise and stuff like that? So there's a lot of, like, optimization here. I think the most difficult part of the format brewing-wise, for me personally, is I don't know if it's correct to play... I don't know when it's correct to play 7-point cards like Time Walk and Time Vault and Ancestral Recall. Oh, I cut Ancestral Recall off the top. Ancestral Recall is 7 points. That's my fault. I must have just cut it off the top. So, yeah, I don't know when it's correct to do that. So there's some decks out there that play Ancestral Recall, right? And they just play like Regrowths and Mystical Tutors. And like, so for example, if you play Mystical Tutor and an Ancestral Recall, you get 2 copies of Ancestral Recall, but your second Ancestral Recall isn't as good because you went down a card to tutor for it, and then you're but then you have Ancestral Recall in your graveyard, so then you can Snapcast your Mage Ancestral Recall. Now you're like up an insane amount of cards. So it's kind of I've only been playing the format for like a week or so, just under a week, and I haven't really figured that out. I really don't understand the whys and hows of like how you warp your deck around pointed cards correctly, because it is a 100-card singleton, and it would make sense to me, like just like intuitively, that like it would never make sense to play cards like Ancestral Recall unless they're actually 7 times as powerful as like Mana Drain, Tainted Pact, Spellseeker. Spellseeker's 2 points, right? Is Ancestral Recall really like 3 times-ish more powerful than Spellseeker? In a Gifts Ungiven deck, no, I don't think so. So, like, I'm not on Ancestral Recall, right? And I'm on Gifts Ungiven and Spellseeker, and I couldn't run Ancestral if I wanted to, but those are just kind of like the gears that are turning in my head. It doesn't seem like, to me, the low-pointed cards right now are, like, so much worse that you're not just supposed to play a ton of them. But, for example, like, if Tainted Pact goes up to 2 points, that might not be the case anymore. If Thoracle goes up a point and Console go up a point, those numbers start moving around a lot. So with this current points list, it's been here for a while. It's been here since June. I feel like it's correct to just play more points, but I could totally be wrong here. Like, I don't claim to be an actual expert on the format at all, but that's just my initial thoughts as a CDH player. Like, I know how powerful Thassa's Oracle is. I know how powerful Consult is. Those seem really, really good to me. So yeah, that's the points list. I've played a few decks now. I've maybe had played decks with half of these cards. Maybe a third. So that's about how much experience I have in the format. Like, I've played 3 of the Moxen, played Demonic Tutor, Mana Crypt, Soul Ring. So I got to play quite a few games the last few days, just like jamming with my friend Alex, and yeah, these cards are really good. Oh, Tolarian Academy is 1 point, which is like, and then you get to play Crop Rotation, and that's like, so yeah, like there are some insane cards at 1 point. Like, you don't get to play Tolarian Academy and like 5 Moxen, but you don't have to because Tolarian Academy is just broken. Like, it's insane. So next I'm going to talk about just like resources. So Highlander actually is pretty low on like content and deck resources, in my opinion. It's nothing like CDH at all, like where there's just like almost too many. you can't possibly watch all the content. Seems like to me, Highlander is actually pretty light on content, and it would probably be pretty sweet to, get some people working on that. Like, the deck list database they have is Untapped Out, which I'm sure you can see the Moxfield logo on the top left. I'm not a big fan of. So yeah, like I think it definitely, there aren't as many resources, but one huge one, like incredible one, is North 100. It's a podcast by Loading Ready Run, which is a pretty big content like network. They make this incredible show called North 100, and it is about the format, and it's mostly set reviews at this point just because of COVID and everything, but which is kind of a joke on the show that they admit. But the content they do is amazing. I've become a much better player listening to it. I've been listening to it for like a couple years now, and I haven't played Canlander until recently. I've just been listening to this podcast. It was so good because they're honestly just incredible minds of Magic. Serge is an incredible host who like really directs the discussion in a great way. If you're interested in making content, honestly, just like listening to that podcast is also useful because they just do such an amazing job breaking down like theories about Magic. And Canlander is obviously a very format from competitive EH. They're nothing. I wouldn't say they're nothing alike, but like if you say they're similar, I feel like it indicates like you have not played Canlander because they're just not alike. But I hope I didn't say they were similar in the opening of this video, but they're just not alike. I mean, the 20 life difference, the 1v1 difference is just totally different. But the insight that these players have just from playing the game for so long and just being the best. I mean, I don't know if they're the best. I mean, Jeremy and Wheeler are obviously very skilled players. I'm pretty sure Serge is actually a pretty good player, and he's an L2 judge. So they're all incredibly knowledgeable about Magic. I'm not sure if they're like the best players in the format, but they're definitely like so good at a single format that just they know things about Magic that they share, and you're just like, wow, that's an incredible insight. So they're great. I totally suggest checking out this podcast. They're really amazing. You can find it on Loading Ready Run. Additionally, if you want gameplay, Loading Ready Run does these incredible like gameplay streams that they post on YouTube afterwards. It's been a few months because of COVID since they've done one, and then it's almost been a year since they've had content like this go up. But you can definitely go check out like video upon video, hours of Canlander gameplay. And as you can see, like, it's really cool. Like, you get these like really sweet artifact decks, and then you have like these like green-white lands decks, and then you get like Burn, and you have Aristocrats, and you have green-black aggro, and you have Sultai good stuff, and there's like one of the videos, Jeremy White plays a Taskseeker deck that's on Wilderness Reclamation, and you're just like it's so cool. And when I say Taskseeker deck, it just was a deck playing Taskseeker. There's no commander or anything like that, so there's no commander. So it's just like a singleton format, but often like decks will have names. So if you see here, there's Bant, Opahoof, and Workshop Weenie. So there's only one copy of Workshop in the deck, but it is a aggressive Weenie deck that's playing Workshops to pay for these really cheap creatures. So yeah, there's like really great gameplay on this YouTube channel. And you see that the video has like 74,000 views, so clearly people are enjoying the content. They enjoy watching Canlander. I think the format has an opportunity to grow, and I think it's a great place to start getting into it right now. So our next section here is, I just have a little like screenshot of my deck list, and I also just like wanted to show off some of the points I'm playing in my deck. So I'm playing a Thoracle Gifts deck. So if you play CDH, you're pretty familiar with Tanapack, Thassa's Oracle, Consult, Thassa's Oracle. Thassa's Oracle and Consult aren't pointed, but Tanapack is pointed, which I think is probably correct. Maybe Thassa's Oracle needs a point, but it's fine. Yeah. I mean, I'm not eligible to really speak on it, but Tanapack's very strong. Makes sense to me that'd be the first card they point. So, Mana Drain, Spellseeker are also two of my points. Mana Drain is just a great counterspell. Lets me force out some big plays like a Savine's Reclamation or a Gifts Ungiven the turn after I counter one of their big spells while also holding up a counterspell for the next turn. Then I'm on Intuition and Gifts Ungiven, which will set up my graveyard combo. I'm a Sultai deck with one white card, which is Savine's Reclamation. So what I do is I get Intuition and Gifts Ungiven. Either of those, I put Savine's Reclamation and Thassa's Oracle and Spellseeker in my graveyard. And then I just return Thassa's Oracle and Spellseeker, get Consult off Spellseeker or Tanapack in response to the ETB trigger, and I win the game. So that's a pretty sick combo. Then I'm also on True Name Nemesis. I think this point is actually like kind of questionable, and if I was to cut a card, if Thassa's Oracle added a point, it'd be that or Dig Through Time probably. But so yeah, I'm on True Name Nemesis. It's just a 3-mana 3/1 that has protection from your opponent, which is kind of insane. So great card, blocks really well. It's a nice clock. I think I actually am pretty bad at playing the card. Like I found in the games I'm playing, I'm not deploying it as a threat when I probably should be, but I guess that's how it is sometimes. And then I have Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise. Those cards are just insane card selection, card advantage. And if you can cast Treasure Cruise multiple times in a game, it's really hard to lose. It's basically Ancestral Recall at sorcery speed. You have to delve your graveyard, which sucks because we're on cards like Uro, but it doesn't really suck. You're still drawing 3 cards for 1 mana. And you know what? I've paid 2 mana for Treasure Cruise at one point, so I could make sure I didn't delve away too many cards for Uro. That's okay. 2 mana draw 3 is still pretty good. So, and yeah, that's the video. So I hope you check out. I almost said Elder Dragon Highlander. I hope you check out Canadian Highlander. It's a really sick format. I'm really enjoying it. I will post a link in the description to the Discord I've been playing in. It's meant for like East Coast Canlander because that's just where I live, and I want to start playing Canlander with my friends who live on the East Coast. But if you just want to play some webcam games with us, feel free to join. So thanks for checking this out. Thanks to Noah for really just like pushing me to put this video out. He's just a great friend and a great supporter of the channel, and I've just been kind of like so distracted by this format the last couple weeks, just building it and then finally playing it, that it's been hard to like put out CDH content. So I'm not sure. I mean, I'm gonna play CDH obviously. Like I'm gonna keep playing Coral because Coral's just so much fun. But I have a feeling I'm gonna be playing a lot more Canlander just until I can go to GPs and play CDH pretty regularly in paper. When COVID first started, I played CDH like 3 times a week in paper, and so it's just been kind of brutal not doing that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoy Canlander and get to check it out. Proxied up, playing on Cockatrice, playing on MTGO. There's like a deal on MTGO that lets you get infinite cards, I think, so check that out. And thanks again to the patrons for helping me get this microphone. Hopefully I sound better. I don't sound like garbage. So yeah, thank you. Have a wonderful day. See ya.